Today on NewsWatch, will Donald Trump unify the GOP? See why the Republican frontrunner might be able to do so. Plus, sending aid to Texas will show you how CBN's Operation Blessing is helping Houston residents rebuild after major flooding. And we're hearing from the queen of country music, Miss Dolly Parton. Hear the role faith played in her success. And thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. GOP frontrunner Donald Trump drew massive crowds at a California rally last night and is drawing new support from establishment Republicans this week. And some are now asking, could Donald Trump begin to unify the party ahead of the GOP convention? Heather Sells is on this story.
In front of the crowds and behind the scenes, the GOP frontrunner continues to build support. Last night, 18,000 people came out to Costa Mesa for Donald Trump's first rally in California.
You people, you're going to be sick and tired of winning. You're going to say, Mr. President, please, we can't take it anymore. You're winning too much.
Afterwards, several hundred rowdy protesters blocked the streets and waved Mexican flags, forcing police on horseback to push them back. But their numbers were small compared to his supporters. And it's not just everyday voters that Trump is winning over. More and more establishment Republicans are warming to him. On Thursday, two House Republican committee chairmen announced their support. The Hill reports that regular meetings between House lawmakers and Trump aides have become must-attend events. And there's a growing sense of trouble for Ted Cruz, who has hoped to unite Republicans against Trump. On Thursday, former House Speaker John Boehner said Cruz was difficult to work with in Congress and called him Lucifer in the flesh. Trump has gained more strength after he crushed his opponents in the Northeast primaries Tuesday. He now has 994 delegates, less than 250 away from the number he needs to win the nomination. On Thursday, a national Hispanic leader spoke in defense of Trump. Evangelical Samuel Rodriguez told CBN News that he disagrees with Trump's rhetoric on immigration, but believes he can work with him to create a solution.
Donald Trump is not a racist. That's just hyperbole. That's hyperbole from the liberal media for the purpose of attempting to paint a fascist sort of racist moniker on Donald Trump that I do not believe is accurate whatsoever. I don't believe Donald Trump has a bit of racism at all.
With comments like that, Trump may be able to show he can reach out to new voters. If he continues to win more primaries and gain more support from Republican leaders, some analysts believe he could begin to unify the party in the weeks ahead. Heather Sells, CBN News.
New reports suggest Belgian police knew for years the Paris attackers were planning a, quote, irreversible act. According to a police watchdog's report, Salah and Brahim Abdesalam intended to carry out an attack as early as 2014. The anti-terror unit argued it could not file a report on the brothers because they were not certain which one was involved. Brahim blew himself up during the November Paris attacks that killed 130 people. Belgian police extradited Salah to France this week to face persecution. A U.S. sergeant who faced expulsion from the Army for defending a child is now recognized as a hero. Sergeant Charles Martland is a decorated Green Beret who was nearly kicked out of the Army for defending an Afghan child from a sexual predator. The American Center for Law and Justice advocated on his behalf, arguing the U.S. military has a duty to stop child sexual abuse overseas. The U.S. military has finally exonerated Martland. North Korea has sentenced a Korean American to 10 years of hard labor. Kim Dong-chul, a U.S. citizen who was charged in North Korea for engaging in spying and stealing state secrets. He was sentenced to 10 years after a short trial. His detainment comes shortly after American college student Otto Warmbier was sentenced to 15 years for trying to steal a poster. Local authorities in China now admit property housing a church in Henan province belongs to the church. The admission came after the pastor's wife was killed when workmen attempted to demolish the church building. On April 14th, Ding Tui Mei was buried alive as she tried to shield the church from bulldozers. China's aide, Bob Fu, said authorities made the right decision to resolve the land dispute, but he says those responsible for Ding's death must be held accountable and a fair investigation must be conducted for justice to prevail. More rain in Houston this week as people rebuild their homes after recent heavy floods. CBN's David Brody visited with one flood victim who cried out to God for help. And that's when CBN's Operation Blessing became the answer to her prayers.
Lord, just thank you for sparing my life, sparing everyone in my home life.
Severe floods hit the Houston area earlier this month, forcing schools and business owners to shut down. Several people lost their lives, others lost their homes after more than a foot of rain.
Operation Blessing is on the ground in places like San Felipe, Texas, near Houston. They're actually helping flood victims like the woman in this home behind me, and they've been doing it by helping clear out debris and trash. Look at all of it in just the past 2 days.
Janice Robertson has lived in this home for 16 years. Even though she has a heart condition, she's enjoyed raising her 3 grandchildren there. But floodwaters rushed in and destroyed it. Rescue workers had to carry her and her grandkids out by boat.
Lord, what's going to happen now? What is going to happen to me and my family?
After staying in a shelter, Robertson decided not to feel sorry for herself. Instead, spent her time serving other flood victims, and that's when she found out about Operation Blessing. And the blessing was they were going to help her gut her house and clean up.
We're just really grateful for the opportunity to serve here in the Houston area, and we're so thankful for the partners that help us to do that.
Operation Blessing, they have been a blessing to me and my family. Everything that needs to be done, they have done an outstanding job. They have brought life back into my life.
The rebuilding process for Robertson could take a while, and though the hard part continues, it has not shaken her faith.
If he did it for me, he can do it for you.
David Brody, CBN News, in San Felipe, Texas.
Oregon bakery owners who refused to bake a cake for a same-sex wedding ceremony are now appealing a court order to pay $135,000 in fines. Aaron and Melissa Klein came under attack when they took a stand for their faith 3 years ago. The damages were awarded last July, but the couple has filed a brief with the Oregon Court of Appeals. The couple's attorney says the state's Bureau of Labor violated the Klein's rights to freedom of expression, freedom of religion, and due process. Coming up, warning signs at Yellowstone National Park, why there are fresh concerns about the world's largest volcano. After the recent earthquakes along the Ring of Fire in Ecuador and Japan, some people have raised questions about possible natural disasters right here in the United States. The biggest one could come from Yellowstone National Park because it sits atop the world's largest volcano. Back in 2011, Paul Strand visited Yellowstone and filed this report about just how devastating an eruption there would be.
Recent news stories warn Yellowstone is on the move. Since 2004, the ground has been expanding upwards at an accelerated pace, sometimes as much as 3 inches a year.
We have significant ground movement over tens of square miles.
That accelerated expanding has some folks worrying because Yellowstone is basically a slowly ticking time bomb, one that might take hundreds of thousands of years to blow, but blow it will. Because Yellowstone is the world's largest megavolcano, 53 miles across, and it's produced 3 of the planet's most monstrous eruptions. Hollywood in the doomsday flick 2012 imagined what it will look like if or when it happens again, with the main character racing, running, and flying away from the super hot pyroclastic clouds that would burn anyone to the bones caught in their blast. He couldn't really have raced, run, or flew fast enough to get away. All of Yellowstone's natural beauty, any wildlife that hadn't fled, any humans unfortunate enough to be within dozens of miles would be annihilated. Ash clouds would spread across much of the U.S. A Geological Society of London report states so much sulfuric acid would be created in the atmosphere, it would block sunlight and plunge Earth temperatures anywhere from 9 to 15 degrees for years. As the report puts it, such events could result in the ruin of world agriculture, severe disruption of food supplies, and mass starvation. The effects could be sufficiently severe to threaten the fabric of civilization. And that's what could lead to possibly 1 billion casualties. Half of the world's geysers are right here in Yellowstone, the result of water superheated by a huge magma chamber 4 to 6 miles below the surface, America's hottest hotspot. It's what would cause the next mega explosion. And that threat is what keeps scientists locking GPS monitors on the park surface 24 hours a day, and why they know the center of Yellowstone is rising about 2 inches every year.
If we were getting about a yard per year, we'd get real excited.
Because dramatic ground swelling can signal magma's on the way up, ready to cause a rerun of history's most destructive mega eruption.
Here's some of Yellowstone's lava up close. But looking into the distance, imagine the awesome and horrifying sight as that massive caldera that stretches out for dozens of miles erupted in the largest explosion in all of Earth's history.
It left a crater, also known as a caldera, so many miles across you could drop Tokyo right in the middle and have room left over. Yellowstone geologist Hank Hessler says that mega explosion blasted 600 cubic miles of molten rock out of this ground and shot up enough ash to bury all New York City under a mile of the sandy stuff.
That's 6,000 times larger than Mount St. Helens.
But will it happen here in Yellowstone again? Hessler says since the mega eruptions, the caldera has been filled in by some 80 smaller eruptions that spewed up lava. It's inevitable more will come.
We know those are in Yellowstone's future, but the big supervolcanoes, we do not know.
Still, most scientists say don't worry about visiting Yellowstone because signs of a coming catastrophic eruption would be clear weeks, maybe even decades or centuries before the big blow. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Yellowstone National Park.
Up next, the humble story of a country music legend on film. We sit down with Dolly Parton to hear her story firsthand. Country music star Dolly Parton is a legend around the world. She has written some 3,000 songs, but her favorite is called Coat of Many Colors. The song is also the beginning of her life story and now a made-for-television movie just released on DVD. I recently sat down with Parton to discuss that movie and her remarkable career. Dolly Parton is the hardest working and the most honored female country music artist of all time. And the only with her own amusement park and roller coaster.
It's the fastest wooden roller coaster. It goes like 73 miles an hour, which is quite a bit for a wooden roller coaster, but it covers a lot of territory. But we've got a lot of wonderful things at Dollywood, and it's called Lightning Rod, and that's our new addition.
Now, do you ride Lightning Rod?
No, I don't ride any of them. With this hair and with all my stuff, not good.
Dolly's real life has been a bit of a remarkable rising roller coaster. She is the fourth of 12 children. Her parents, Robert Lee and Avi Lee, struggled to make ends meet in the poor hills of East Tennessee, not too far from where her theme park now stands.
Well, you do have a colorful way with words, Miss Dolly.
Oh, thank you, Miss Moody. So do you.
The humble childhood story is now a movie, Coat of Many Colors.
Miss Parton, front and center.
What'd I do?
Not you, sweet Stella May. You. Since you were so interested in talking during your essay test, you can be the first one to read yours aloud. All right, now, Dolly, please tell us who your favorite famous person is and why you admire them.
Why, that's easy, Miss Moody. It's Miss Dolly Parton, rising star of the Grand Ole Opry. She was born on a cold winter's night in Locust Ridge, Tennessee. She was singing before she could talk.
Hard to believe that Dolly Parton, icon, country music singer, actress, came from such humble beginnings.
Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do the show, because people like me have to come from somewhere.
Dolly first told the story in a song.
Mama sewed the rags together, so I never pieced with love. She made my coat of many colors that I was so proud of.
That's still her very favorite today.
I've always been really proud of my family and my mom and my dad, and I really wanted to really pay them the respect that I think they deserve. So I wanted it to be more about them than it really was about me.
No one has seen her since she lost that baby. Well, she looks just awful. Peaked, just terrible.
Well, who wouldn't? 8 kids already? They can't feed the family they have now.
What is wrong with Lee Parton?
Same thing you wish your husband would catch. You know, God took that little baby just as sure as this world. I'd say it's a blessing in disguise.
How could the taking of an innocent ever be a blessing?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Addie Lee.
It's a beautiful love story between your mom and dad and overcoming difficulty. My wife and I have lost a child pretty much the same way, so I identify with that. How would you describe their love story?
My mama never loved anybody but my daddy in her whole life. I don't think he ever loved anybody else but her. They married. Mom was just 15 and daddy was 17. You know, my daddy, he was a handsome man. My mom was always a little bit jealous, just like we showed in the movie. She was always afraid. But she was a beautiful woman. Mama had a very good heart. They were good parents, but their love story was beautiful. And so Mama never looked any way besides. She'd choose daddy over us, and she loved us better than anything, if that'll give you any truth.
You are approaching 50 years of marriage yourself. Are they the example for you and your husband?
My husband always loved my dad and my mom, but I think my husband and my relationship really just was a godsend, because God knew I was going to need somebody like him if I was going to be doing all this crazy stuff. But he knew he was going to need somebody like me, you know, because Carl's very much a loner, and he doesn't really want to be with anybody but me.
Nosy Entertainment reports have counted only about 20 public photographs of Carl Dean and Dolly together since they snuck across the state line back in 1966 and tied the knot in Georgia to keep the announcement out of the Tennessee papers.
We've been together 52 years in May, but we've been married 50. He's always been for me. He's always been supportive, but he doesn't try to get into the business. He's always said, just leave me out of that. I'm not going to any of these shindigs. I'm not doing any of that.
At 70, Dolly's shindigs aren't slowing down, picking up the Tex Ritter Award for the Coat of Many Colors film, performing with pop star Katy Perry at the American Country Music Awards, and pushing forward with a tour. You are getting ready to tour 60 cities, I'm reading. Are you up for that?
I'm ready. I'm all for it. Actually, I love touring. I live on my bus. I don't stay in hotels. I don't have to fly, so I don't wear myself out with that. I got all my things on the bus. I love to travel. I'm a gypsy. I never got over that. I've always loved going.
Now, you started singing in your grandfather's church. He was a minister. How vivid are those memories today?
Oh, very vivid. I keep all that stuff very close to my heart. I mean, I grew up knowing Jesus loved me, and I knew that through God all things were possible. And, you know, I just grew up with those little things that we just heard all the time. My grandpa was a really good preacher. He used to scare me a little bit. He was that hellfire, brimstone kind of preacher. I wrote a song years ago called Daddy Was an Old-Time Preacher Man. It was about him, about my grandpa, because one of the lines is, he preached hell so hot you could feel the heat. People say, well, I'm surprised that you really talk about, you know, your faith. I said, well, why not? That's who I am. That's what keeps me going.
That faith is what inspires Dolly to write hit songs. She's written more than 3,000.
If I should stay, well, I would only be in your way.
Including this one.
Anytime I'll write something and it's just a line that I know didn't come from me, I just always say, give me a high five, Lord. Give me a thumbs up.
And you can see more of my interview with Dolly Parton on my weekly entertainment show called Studio 5. She told us what led her to write that hit song, I Will Always Love You, that was made popular by Whitney Houston. You can find that at cbnnews.com. Stay with us. We are coming right back. The weekend is here, and you may be thinking about heading to the movies. For some family-friendly movie reviews, we turn to Bob Waliszewski with Focus on the Family's Plugged In Online. So, Bob, let's start with a new movie aimed at children. It is called Ratchet & Clank. Tell us about it.
Well, Ephraim, this one is based on a popular video game series, and I'm happy to announce right up front that it's fun, it's cute, it's family-friendly, there's no major concerns. We gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Ratchet is a cat-like creature. He calls himself a Lombax, and Clank is a robot. They team up with a cute little friendship, and then team up with something called the Galactic Rangers to take on a baddie who's trying to destroy planets in the galaxy. Yep, they're out to save the galaxy. Great messages about beyond fame, what is more important than fame, having a good friendship. A little bit of rude humor, but mild. Nothing, I think, that should be of major concerns to families.
Good deal. Now, there is a new comedy out starring Jennifer Aniston, Julia Roberts, and Kate Hudson, some big names, called Mother's Day. Is that a good one to take mom to?
Well, Ratchet and Clank would be a much better pick, Efren. We'll put it that way. Of course, Mother's Day is coming a week from this Sunday, so it's no surprise we had Valentine's Day around Valentine's Day that we'd have a movie called Mother's Day. And essentially, it focuses on about a half dozen mothers. Some stories are intertwined, some are independent, all of them having a unique little bit of a storyline. And by the time the credits roll, on the positive side, there's a lot of pro-mother sentiment. For instance, there's a message that, yes, sometimes all moms can be frustrating, but they're still our moms and we love them. And I love that message. But to get there, we have to wade through quite a bit of difficulty. For instance, there's a couple. One of the moms is living with a guy. She has a child, a baby, a 2-year-old approximately. And that live-in situation is just so matter of fact. There's no moral judgment here. There's some harsh profanities. There's 2 misuses of our Savior's name. There's some pretty sleazy visuals, some very sleazy discussions. Even Jennifer Aniston's character, who's probably the main character in this film, if you want to zero down to one, she's stealing candy bars from a vending machine, of all things, and we're supposed to be rooting for her when she finally gets them. It's like, no, I don't think so. So overall, we, even despite some good messages here on mothering, this one, we just gave a 2 out of 5, which is not a very good family-friendly score.
Oh, not indeed. All right, Bob, thank you.
Thank you, Efren.
And that is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. And take the time to tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do it on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Hope you join us again right here next time. Have a wonderful weekend.